he wanted to reach the point where we judge people by the content of their character, not by the color of their skin. And I think those words are words that I think of very often. And my high school was not the typical high school because my high school had kids from all 5 boroughs of New York City.
Yeah.
So if you looked around, it looks like my homeroom for 3 years looked like the United Nations. So all this stuff was going on in the country about segregation, and I didn't have that experience growing up in New York City as I did, so I consider myself very fortunate.
I was born in the Caribbean, and coming here as a young girl, I think he was probably the first African American that I really learned about in terms of his successes, his accomplishments, and what he did, not only for America, but around the world. I know that he is seen as a hero throughout the entire Caribbean, as well as here in the United States. And now, fast forward to being a teacher, one of the things that I struggle with as I look around at many of our so-called leaders, and as I try to compare them to the person Martin Luther King Jr. was, it's really hard for me to swallow, and even harder for me to help relay that to my students. Martin Luther King was the epitome of not only a family man, because to me, family is just one of the most important things. Family and religion and what it means to be a true leader. To me, it's all become about money and personal status. We're not teaching our younger generation what it really means to be human. Many young people just don't go to church. So they're missing out on that. And schools cannot teach them this. Young kids today are growing up without knowing what it means to have empathy, without knowing what it really means to sympathize with others, people around the world who struggle, who have nothing to eat. And I think about what we do in Haiti, and it's really sad. It's really sad.
He called for us to embrace each other. And I remember one story where they asked a rabbi, when is it dawn? And different people offered different explanations to that question. And one person said, I think it's dawn when people can see that we are all sisters and brothers.
Yeah.
And it's all scripturally based. These are no different, his words, than the words of Jesus himself. And it seems so simple, and yet it's been so hard to live out.
And it's so sad that because he fought against segregation, because it doesn't matter the color of your skin. We're all different in different ways, but it doesn't matter.
Like a lot of things bad happened to his family, and that didn't make him stop. And everyone else marched with him, and eventually they stopped segregation.
Like when we thought we would never get to the mountain, because with people like that dragging her down all the time. He wasn't careful about his life. He was opening. He said God will take care of him. He came to this earth to do that work, and nothing would stop him. Nobody.
I grew up in Memphis, Tennessee, so I grew up with the legacy of Dr. King's assassination, and several times have been to, over the years, to the Civil Rights Museum, which is an incredibly moving museum. His message of justice combined with his methods of nonviolence and of passive resistance, which really is incredibly powerful. It really gives you a sense of strength from a place of weakness, or from a place of powerlessness.
Because I think it's important for us to continue to do what we're doing today, so that we continue to remind people about the importance of this man, of his leadership, his commitment to God, his commitment to human beings, and maybe in this way, by keeping his dream alive, maybe in this way we can help educate young people and get them to understand what it really means to be leaders and what it really means to look out for each other, for their fellow brothers and sisters around them.